Just moments ago, the Indiana Fever's team meeting room transformed from casual conversation to dead silence. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull came forward with shocking news about Caitlin Clark that stunned fans and left teammates speechless. This was one of those moments that catches you completely off guard. Sophie Cunningham broke the tension first, moving to the front of the room facing both reporters and her teammates with that determined expression she's famous for. However, something was clearly different about her demeanor today, something that immediately signaled to everyone present that this wasn't going to be another standard team update. While her voice remained controlled, there was an underlying intensity that you recognize when someone is fighting to keep their emotions in check. She explained to everyone gathered that what they were about to reveal was difficult, but absolutely necessary to address. Then, without warning, Lexi Hull moved beside her, took the microphone, and seamlessly continued the announcement. Lexi spoke with a gentler tone, but maintained the same serious energy as she disclosed that Caitlin Clark would be taking an indefinite break from basketball. She clarified that this decision had nothing to do with trades, team disputes, or league-related issues, but was instead related to what they only termed as a private family matter. Both players made it abundantly clear they would not elaborate further or take additional questions on the topic. The atmosphere became incredibly heavy as everyone processed that the team's superstar was departing for reasons that remained completely unclear. Beyond those walls, the announcement immediately went viral across every social media platform, with fans, commentators, and players from other teams desperately trying to understand what could be happening behind the scenes. Once Lexi Hull finished speaking, the shockwaves spread well beyond the Fever's facility. In just minutes, the story was dominating every platform. Twitter exploded with reactions, Instagram comments went crazy, and TikTok videos of the announcement reached millions of viewers almost instantly. Supporters were analyzing every detail of Sophie's facial expressions and Lexi's vocal inflections, certain that important information was being withheld. Some viewers insisted they noticed Sophie's hands shaking before passing the microphone, while others were convinced they detected emotion breaking through in Lexi's voice when she mentioned Caitlin's name. Amid all this frenzy, wild theories started spreading faster than the organization could manage. There were unconfirmed rumors about internal team conflicts, personal issues, and even mysterious theories about incidents during recent road trips. Each speculation became increasingly sensational, creating a whirlwind of conjecture that seemed unstoppable. Despite the pressure, neither Sophie nor Lexi revealed any additional information. They politely but firmly declined to expand on their statement, clearly demonstrating their commitment to shielding their teammate from scrutiny. This protective stance only intensified public curiosity about what circumstances could force Caitlin Clark, widely recognized as one of the league's most determined competitors, to walk away during such a crucial part of the season. In hindsight, many supporters now claim they noticed warning signs building up over time. They reference Caitlin Clark's recent media appearances, where her characteristic enthusiasm appeared slightly muted, her post-game celebrations seemed briefer, and her interviews felt more cautious. Her typically quick-witted and confident responses had shifted to shorter, more evasive answers, particularly when topics moved beyond basketball. Most observers initially attributed these changes to fatigue from the demanding WNBA schedule, but some dedicated fans spotted subtle indicators that now seem more significant. There was a noticeable pause before heading to the locker room after a close victory, a brief, tense moment captured on video between Caitlin and Sophie during practice that they both immediately downplayed. Perhaps most revealing was a mysterious social media post she shared late one evening featuring only the phrase "focus on what matters" displayed on a blank background. Fans now believe this was an early hint about her upcoming decision. While we can't definitively connect these moments to her current situation, the sequence of events has become fertile ground for speculation. Anyone familiar with Sophie Cunningham's playing style understands how significant her role in making this announcement really is. Sophie represents much more than just a teammate. She's established herself as the most vocal, aggressive, and unwavering protector of her team's stars. She's exactly the type of player who'll gladly accept a technical foul if it means defending her teammates against any opposition. When Caitlin Clark joined the Fever roster, Sophie immediately assumed the role of her primary defender, making it crystal clear through her actions and words that anyone targeting Caitlin would have to deal with her first. This fierce loyalty has earned her admiration from fans and criticism from opponents, but established her as Caitlin's most trusted on-court protector. That's why the slight tremor in her voice during today's announcement carried such weight. This wasn't a scripted media appearance, but rather a genuine emotional response from someone who has consistently sacrificed her body all season to protect the player she was now asking everyone to respect and support. Looking at recent weeks, you can observe how intensely Sophie has been advocating in ways that extend far beyond basketball. She's been publicly confronting critics who ridiculed Caitlin's recent shooting struggles, challenging what she perceived as biased officiating against the rookie, and coordinating matching pregame outfits with Lexi Hull to show team solidarity before important games. All of these actions make her appearance today feel less like an obligation and more like a deeply personal commitment. Her unspoken message was unmistakable. Regardless of what Caitlin is experiencing, Sophie will shield her from outside pressure, even if it means facing the criticism herself. While Sophie brought intensity to the announcement, Lexi Hull provided the calm strength that made it even more impactful. Lexi typically avoids the spotlight, preferring to let her court performance, locker room professionalism, and quiet leadership speak for itself. Therefore, when she stepped forward next to Sophie and took control of the microphone, it was the kind of gesture that immediately commanded everyone's full attention. Her delivery was composed, yet carried that unmistakable undertone of someone restraining deep emotion. For dedicated Fever supporters, this moment held extra significance because Lexi and Caitlin have been developing a special connection throughout the season. You can see it in their quick exchanges after successful plays, their extended celebrations during practice, and how Lexi consistently appears first to congratulate Caitlin at center court following game-winning shots. This is why listening to her discuss Caitlin's departure felt more like witnessing a personal goodbye rather than a standard teammate comment. Examining recent games, you can trace Lexi's expanding influence not just statistically, but in terms of team leadership. Her improved three-point shooting, intelligent defensive positioning, and popular pregame style collaborations with Sophie that generated social media buzz all indicate a player embracing greater responsibility. For her to set aside all that momentum today and stand united with Sophie for this announcement reveals everything about her true priorities. Ultimately, regardless of individual achievements, team success, or personal recognition, Lexi demonstrated that supporting Caitlin Clark matters more than anything else. What made the announcement particularly concerning was Caitlin Clark's total absence from all communication channels. In today's sports world, where athletes typically break their own news through Instagram or Twitter before official team statements, Caitlin's silence across all platforms communicated volumes. This isn't because she's been inactive recently. Just weeks ago, she was responding playfully to Sophie's gentle teasing about her limited social media engagement, sharing exclusive practice footage, and confidently telling reporters that she'd rather concentrate on basketball than social media metrics. That comment felt casual when she said it, but now seems to carry deeper meaning, as though she was already preparing for this withdrawal from public attention. Combined with her recent interview patterns, a clear trend emerges. Her responses grew shorter, her natural excitement became less obvious. Any questions touching on her personal life were quickly redirected with the skill of someone protecting more than just basketball strategy. Together, these signs suggest a player dealing with pressures that statistics and game footage could never capture. Throughout today's press conference, as Sophie and Lexi handled numerous questions, Caitlyn's absent chair seemed to dominate the entire room. It served as a powerful reminder that whatever challenges she's confronting are serious enough to separate her from the sport that has defined her entire life. Caitlin Clark stepping away creates consequences that extend far beyond missing one player from the rotation. This isn't just any first-year player. She represents the foundation of the Fever's offensive strategy, the league's primary attraction, and the driving force behind increased ticket sales and television viewership throughout the season. When this news broke, the reaction went beyond fan disappointment. The entire WNBA landscape immediately began adjusting. Competing teams started revising their preparation strategies. Media organizations rushed to modify their coverage plans, and league executives privately worried about potential impacts on playoff excitement and the positive momentum that has defined this season. Within the Fever organization, the consequences are equally significant. Regardless of how effectively Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull embrace leadership walls, Caitlyn's impact affects everything from defensive rotations to her teammates' overall confidence levels. Her absence forces the Fever to confront completely new obstacles, both tactically and psychologically. Although the team presents a unified public image, internal pressure continues mounting. Every upcoming practice session, pre-game preparation, and crucial late-game situation will now be influenced by losing their most dynamic player. The timing couldn't be worse, occurring just as the Fever had found their rhythm, securing important victories that were changing the conversation from rebuilding project to genuine playoff contender. This developing storyline now faces uncertainty as fans, analysts, and fellow players question whether this team can survive such adversity without their cornerstone player. However, amid all this uncertainty, there's an unexpected determination emerging from the Fever's leadership group. Observing closely, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull aren't behaving like players on a sinking ship. Instead, they're conducting themselves like competitors prepared to fight more intensely than ever before. They're approaching practice with renewed focus, motivating teammates in ways that don't generate headlines, and creating meaningful tributes to maintain Caitlyn's influence despite her physical absence. Whether wearing her jersey number on accessories or sharing highlight videos of her greatest moments, they're clearly communicating to supporters and skeptics that they refuse to abandon either her or this season. While this dedication is admirable, it doesn't eliminate the harsh reality that the Fever's success now depends on circumstances beyond anyone's external control. The mystery surrounding Caitlyn's situation has only increased public fascination, creating questions about whether this represents a temporary absence, season-ending development, or indication of larger career changes ahead. Honestly, nobody has definitive answers. Not the experts, not the supporters, and definitely not the journalists pursuing the next breaking story. Only those directly involved know the truth, and they're maintaining complete silence, which might be exactly their intention right now. What began as an unexpected emotional announcement has evolved into the WNBA season's most discussed mystery. This narrative encompasses loyalty, friendship, and protection just as much as basketball competition. Whatever develops next, this much is undeniable. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull have established clear boundaries, demonstrating their unwavering commitment to supporting Caitlin Clark through whatever difficulties she's experiencing. This commitment leaves everyone else waiting, watching, and wondering how dramatically the league might change when she eventually returns to competition. The supporter responses create their own compelling narrative. Comments are flooding in from fans who discovered the WNBA specifically through Caitlin Clark's influence. Many are declaring they'll boycott games until her return, while others promise to support her regardless of her future career decisions. International supporters from countries like the Netherlands are expressing continued loyalty, demonstrating Clark's truly global impact. Some fans are already analyzing the potential effects on league revenue, attendance figures, and broadcast ratings, acknowledging that Clark has been the primary catalyst behind recent growth in women's professional basketball. The financial implications of this situation cannot be overlooked. Caitlin Clark's debut season generated unprecedented interest in the WNBA, directly increasing ticket purchases, merchandise sales, and viewership statistics. Her departure will determine whether this growth represented sustainable progress or was primarily dependent on her individual star power. Teams throughout the league experienced attendance boosts when Clark visited their venues. The consequences of her absence will impact the entire WNBA, not just Indianapolis. Corporate sponsors, television networks, and league administrators are probably already developing backup plans and crisis management strategies. Sophie and Lexi's handling of today's announcement exemplifies genuine leadership qualities. They prioritized their teammates' welfare over personal comfort, maintained professionalism under intense pressure, and established proper boundaries between media access and personal privacy. Whatever unfolds next, these values will endure long after the current situation resolves and games resume.